Why did I choose so many layers of like fur and long sleeves in order to film after turning my air conditioner off mid-August? Girl drag may be for everyone, but it is not for the sun. Oh, I forgot my gloves. Oh, hold on. Oh my god. Do you like my earrings? They say pride. Because I'm proud of what I've done here. Not those strings, though. I'm not proud of them. Okay. Oh my, jeez, the whole foot? Damn. Oh, hi there. Sorry, I didn't see it come in. I was just reading Mein Kampf. Hi, happy days. My name is Daisy Maize, and I thought I would just pop in here real quick and let you know that I would really appreciate it if you left this video a like if you're having a good time. Maybe leave a comment. Tell me why you're having a good time or why you hate it. I'll delete it, but you're fully free to do so, and then I will just move on with my life. Maybe also hit that subscribe button and hit that nifty little notification bell so that you get notified every single time I post some brand new plant-based cotton candy cartoon clowny content. We do a lot of fun stuff here, and a lot of terrible shit, so stick around and you're bound to see both. Bye! Happy days, my name is Daisy Maize, and god damn it, we're back. Girl, how are we at season 3? I know this is episode 2? Episode 2 of season 3. Yes, I think so, something like that. I can't believe that we got past episode 3, much less season 3. Again, whether or not you watch this, completely irrelevant. I just want to see how long I can last before I quit something. I don't know if you've already noticed, but I am a notorious quitter. Do you like my outfit? Oh, I made this sweatshirt. That's why it doesn't fit me fucking at all. But I love it, so I want to wear it, okay? Is that allowed? Fuck. Stop screaming at me. Anyway. Everybody, welcome back to season 3 of Booning and Baining. Oh my god. Oh, thank you. So, Booning and Baining, for those of you who somehow don't know, and this is just the first episode you've clicked on or whatever, Booning and Baining is my series where I, your hostess, Daisy Maize, the cross-dressing cartoon cotton candy... I'm fucking out of these words. I can't remember them. I describe myself with them literally every episode, and I never remember them. Whatever. I'm a clown. I'm your clown. And this is my town, so get down. Get down. Get down. Anyway, Booning and Baining is my YouTube series where I take a seemingly irrelevant topic, most of the time actually irrelevant, only sometimes seemingly, and I absolutely dissect it in a way that it did not ask for, does not deserve, and I will retell for generations to come. In fact, I'll probably write it down. That'll be my book. There and Back Again, a hobbit story of how he beat the shit out of one specific topic, over and over and over. Until it said, please, Bilbo Daisy, stop it. Stop it. I can't take anymore. And then I'll say, you're making this weird. You're making this sound really weird. You need to stop. This is actually... It's mostly your fault. It's mostly your fault and your problem. I don't think I'll ever be trending on the homepage. God, please don't ever let me trend on the homepage. So yeah, that's Booning and Baining, my show, which means we need a topic. And I was going through a couple of different topics before I settled on the one that I'm going to do for today. But then I put on the outfit and I was like, you know what? Yeah. So today's topic is... sewing. Sewing. That's right. We're talking needles. We're talking thread. We're talking bobbins. We're talking shears. We're talking hems. We're talking all that fun shit. But only for 3 boons and 3 banes. And then we're done talking with that. We're never talking about it ever again. Oh, God. On a relevant subject, on a related note, you may have noticed my sweatshirt, which I am currently wearing, and I made. Hold on. Let me model it for you. Excuse me. Sit down. Shut up. Ba-na-na-na-na. Bum, bum. Ba-na-na-na-na. Bum, bum. Ba-na-na-na-na. Would you get off? Oh my god. Ba-na-na-na. No. Okay. That stopped being fun really fast, actually. Yeah, this is a sweatshirt that I made. It's a patchwork hoodie that I made from a bunch of scraps of fabric. It is inspired by the patchwork hoodie that my friend Dana Marie made. I'll put her info on the screen because she makes some really incredible stuff and you should go see her. And it was inspired by that because I saw hers and I was like, that is so cool, I want one. And she was like, I just stitched together some patchwork of like scrap fabric. And I was like, bet. And so then I did, and mine is not as good as hers, but I still like it. So, slay. Anyway, sewing. I gotta be honest with you. I love sewing, but it came to me rather later in life. I know. How much later could it possibly be, Daisy? You're already a dinosaur. First of all, shut the fuck up. Please. Them right there, officer. Please, take them away. They are dulling my sparkle. You'll think twice about doing that again now, won't you? Anyway, I've only been sewing for probably just about as long as I've been doing drag. And most of it, I took one sewing class to learn the basics. But after that, I basically just kind of like draped shit together and just figured it out as I went, made up some patterns, fucked around, and found out. And that brings us to boon number 1 already, because I have a lot to talk about with sewing, and I've got to get going. Boon number 1 for sewing is that sewing is remarkably easy to get started at. And now, a lot of you are going to be doubting me there. You're going to be like, no, Daisy, you need a sewing machine. Daisy, you need a this, you need a that. Bitch, no you don't. Shut up, sit down. This entire garment right here, save for a few specific details. Actually, yeah, no, I think the entire garment. I'm not sure if I actually machine stitched any of this. Most, if not all of this hoodie was hand sewn, because I love hand sewing. Hand sewing is really cool. I actually used a lot of thread that specifically would be seen because I like that like cottagecore aspect of it, as with most of my drag. But sewing is a lot of fun. And if you get like a little $15 sewing kit and like a single sewing class, you can probably get started like right away. It's pretty easy, it's pretty accessible, and there's lots of ways to do it. There's like, you can learn from like a flat patterning book. A lot of my friends started that way. I learned from draping and just learning how to use a machine and like putting things together. It just makes sense in my brain. I don't know, maybe that's not relatable content. Maybe other people can't relate in that way, but I think it's a lot more accessible than people really think. To get started sewing, you don't need that much. You can even start with like some scrap fabric from like old clothes or something. Like there's a lot of ways around it. There's a lot of ways that you can just kind of get in there. And I highly recommend you do, because nothing feels quite as good as wearing something that you have made, so that when somebody says, "Ugh, what's that?" you go, "Thanks, I made it." And then you realize what they said, and you get sad. Don't ask me how I know. So, bane number 1 is that while sewing has a very low skill floor, it has a very high skill ceiling. Some may consider that a boon. I consider it a bane, because I'm a completionist. When I like something, I want to do all of it, and I want to be done. I want to do all of it, I want to get it all done, and I want to have all of it under my belt and be done. And be able to go back if I want to, but like I like in games, I like to complete everything and then start back from the beginning of the game so that I know where everything is, and that I can just kind of, maybe that's min-maxing, I don't know. I just kind of like it. So when I am confronted with a skill like sewing, where there is still a lot to learn, and there always will be, I am displeased. I am displeased. I'm very happy to do it. I'm very upset that that's the best way to do it. And that's fine. And I love that. Boon number 2 is that there is no greater feeling of accomplishment. You can take your LSATs, you can take the bar exam, I don't fucking care. When you wear a garment that you have completely made yourself, there is no greater sense of achievement. It's the same with like gardening or like woodworking or like DIY home improvement stuff. Like nothing feels better than using your own hands to make something that is practically useful. It's just like nothing feels quite as rewarding as having access to things that you made and that you could make again if you wanted to. I have a bag that I made out of some of this similar fabric, some of this upholstery fabric that I'm currently wearing as a jacket. And to this day, it's one of the best things I've ever made. And it's one of the best bags I've ever had, period. Hold on, I'm going to show you it, actually. I'm really proud of it. Wait right there, okay? Stay right there. Shut up, don't move. Be right back. Where am I going? Oh god. I found it. Okay, here I come. I'm on my way back. Oh my god. Hi, I made it. This is my bag. There are many like it, but this one is mine. This was another hand-stitched project. I did not look at a pattern or anything. I just kind of like started cutting shapes out and pinning them together until they looked the way that I wanted them to. And then I just kind of like figured it out as I went. And I pressed all my seams. I learned that ahead of time from like a tips I wish I knew about sewing kind of book. And highly recommend. Sewing's a lot of fun. I love it. Okay, and we're back. So, bane number 2. Bane number 2 is that while sewing itself is pretty easily accessible, you can get started sewing like basically right away. The materials that you need for sewing are not always so easily accessible. I got a beginner singing sewing machine, which was, I think, $100. It may have been on sale. And I will say, that wasn't a terrible price to pay for something that is still serving me this well, like 4 or 5, almost 6 years later. Actually, I think longer than 6. I think I've had it since 2018? 2017, 2018? 2018. I think 2018. I'm not sure. Maybe closer to 2019. The whole story's falling apart. Anyway, I will say it's definitely worth the investment, but $100 is a lot of money for somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck. I would know. I been there, am there, will be there. Hopefully not for too much longer. We'll see. But that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. More specifically, it's not even so much the machine, because like I said, you can hand sew, and that's fine. The fabric can get expensive, and fabric can get expensive fast. So fabric is like the main thing that like... I got lucky. I had access to a lot of like upholstery fabric, and then a lot of fabric that a theater near me was getting rid of. So there are some ways around it, but like not always. It's tricky. Another great tip is to get like bed sheets and curtains and stuff from like a thrift store or Goodwill. That's where I got a lot of my shit. I got a lot of shit from Goodwill, especially the Goodwill in Laramie, Wyoming. Highly recommend if you're ever in the area. Boon number 3, back to the positives, because I love this art form, this hobby, and I would love to keep it positive if that's okay. It's my YouTube channel. I think I'm allowed to do that. Okay? Okay. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's fine. Thank you. Did I say it was episode 2? I think this is episode 3, right? No, this is episode 2. Where am I? How did I get here? Who are you people? I don't know. So boon number 3. Boon number 3 is that the world of sewing and textile arts and fashion and costume design, these are all worlds that are basically eternal. As long as human beings exist, clothing will exist, costumes will exist, fashion will exist. There will always be a need for the skill of sewing. Sewing will always be a useful skill. Tearing the curtains because your cat keeps clawing at them, you can fix that, or you can make new ones. Pillowcase needs repairing, you can fix that. Darning socks, you can do that. Adding a zipper to something, you can do that. Putting pockets into something, you can do that. Hemming jeans, you could probably do that. I'd be careful if you're using the beginner sewing machine though, because that shit is not forgiving to your basic ass needles, thank you. So sewing is always a useful skill, but bane number 3 is that, and I don't know if this is a problem for anybody else in the world of costume design and sewing, I didn't go to school for, I didn't go to university, I didn't go to college for costume design or fashion or sewing. I did not even know that was an option. I took one sewing class at like a side. It's called Old Spool Sewing here in I think it's over in Belmar or Bradley, something like that. Great place. Julia, love you. Shout out to Julia at Old Spool Sewing for literally teaching me how to sew and getting my entire life together inadvertently. Sorry to put all that on you, Julia, but you know, she won't solve your problems, but she can sell you some great fabric and teach you how to sew. So, love her. But besides that, it took me a while to find a place where I could go and learn how to sew. And there aren't a whole lot of, like, unless you actively seek out apprenticeships or have a grandparent or something, or a mother who can, or a father who can teach you how to sew because they know how to do it. It's not one of those skills that is I kind of learned how to do a hand stitch back in my child development class in high school. We didn't call it home economics, it was child development. Whatever. I sewed some dolls, which I still have. They're in the back there. I named them Artemis and Apollo. They have little eggs in them. Real eggs. The insides are all dried out. They're good to go. I'll keep them forever. Love you guys. Mwah. Despite those options, there's still not a lot of ways for somebody to easily learn how to hone and perfect their craft without going to literally college. And even then, there's no guarantee that you're going to actually learn worthwhile skills. Now, maybe I'm wrong. By worthwhile skills, I mean immediately applicable skills. They'll teach you stuff, but I don't know. I feel on the fence about schooling in general. For example, I never, in all of my years of schooling, ever had any idea of how to start sewing. And I've always kind of wanted to learn. I've always had an interest. But there's never really been nobody told me, yeah, you can do it. It's easier than you think. And here's how you start. And my grandma was a great seamstress. She's still around. My grandma is a great seamstress. She just doesn't sew much anymore. She gave me her old machine. But I never sat down and learned from her how to sew, and I wish I had. But there weren't a lot of opportunities, and I wasn't a very good student. So I also didn't know, this is weird to articulate. I don't know how to say it. I didn't know how to go about sewing in a way that made sewing fun. Sewing always seemed like an insurmountable task. I think that's what I'm getting at with bait number 3, is that sewing seems so much harder than it is. And it isn't that hard to get started. Like I said, high skill ceiling, but low skill floor, you can get in there. But most people never will, because sewing seems really, really hard. And here I am telling you right now, there are easy ways for you to get out there and start sewing if you really want to. And please, I beg of you, you should, because it's great. And with that, I think it's very obvious that I am going to give sewing as a whole an enormous motherfucking boon. Great. Love sewing. Love sewing. So yeah, everybody go get your Singer starter machine and get to work, okay? Hit up Julia at Old School Sewing and do that. And in the meantime, while you're getting ready to go and do that, maybe consider liking the video if you haven't already. Also, while you're here, seems like you might kind of like some of the stuff that I do, so maybe subscribe to my channel. You leave a comment. All these things help me. You can hit that nifty little notification bell to get notified every single time that I post more cross-dressing cartoon clowny cotton candy content. And there is a lot of it. Thank you all for watching. My name is Daisy Maize, and I am wishing you all some very happy, seam-filled, pressed, seam-filled days. Mwah. Cinderella, something, something, Cinderella, we're mice and we're gonna make a dress. That has the same energy as, we're British and we're going to war. I'm so tired.